The Chesterfield sofa is one of those sofa designs that we still have in our home today, even though it originates from the 18th century. In this video, we are going to take a look at what makes a Chesterfield sofa unique, all of those unique design details, as well as what to think about when we have one in our home. So apparently, the Chesterfield sofa is named after the 4th Earl of Chesterfield, Lord Philip Stanhope, who was alive during the late 17th century into the 18th century. And apparently, he commissioned this sofa so that a gentleman could sit upright in this sofa without getting his suit wrinkled. Well, over time, this type of sofa has stayed with us, and even today we still buy this sofa for our homes. So let's take a look at what makes this sofa design unique. So let's focus in on two areas of this sofa first, and that will be the back and the arms. And on those areas, we'll notice that there is what's called tufting. And on a Chesterfield sofa, this is referred to as deep button tufting. And this is where the layers of upholstery fabric, padding, and foam are pulled back, secured in a way, in the case of a Chesterfield sofa, with fabric covered buttons, usually in the same fabric, or if it's leather, in that same leather as the rest of the sofa. And then that is anchored to the furniture frame, and all of this tufting keeps the stuffing in place and prevents it from sagging. And we'll notice, especially when we look at the back of the sofa, that there is a pattern that is created by this tufting. And in a Chesterfield sofa, the pattern that is usually created is a diamond pattern. And this deep button tufting we'll find on the back and on the arms, but even sometimes we'll find it on the front, on the bottom rail, or what's called the base or apron of that sofa. And then let's just focus in on the arms of the sofa, where we will find a design of an arm called a rolled arm. And one way to describe this design of an arm is that it's almost rolled from the inside of the sofa to the outside. It's almost rolled over or tucked over. And the other thing that's important to notice about a Chesterfield sofa's arm is that it is the same height as the back of the sofa, creating a continuous, almost wraparound feel of that sofa. And this is different than many sofas we see today, where the back is usually higher than the arms. Then when we take a look at the arms again, as well as the base, we will notice that we will see what's called Nailhead trim. And that is hand-applied decorative metal fasteners, or tacks, that often run along the front of the arms and along the base. And they provide a functional purpose in that they help to secure the upholstery in place. But they also provide visual interest. Along with the diamond pattern that is created by the deep button tufting, we'll also notice that those nailhead trims, all of those little tacks that are placed on the sofa in a line, create a pattern as well, and also a line that we can follow around the sofa. And then let's focus in on the feet of the sofa. On a Chesterfield sofa, the classic design of the feet on this piece of furniture is what's called bun feet. And these classic versions of the Chesterfield sofa, they almost sit on these short, sturdy, turned wooden legs in a rounded, smooth, bulbous shape that resemble a bun or a ball in different types of variations. And we can see that this is a different type of design compared to maybe a foot on a sofa that is tapered or straight. And when we're just talking about a foot on a piece of furniture like a sofa. That just means it's shorter compared to what we could call a leg on a sofa, which would just be a longer piece. So the Chesterfield sofa really is a very unique type of sofa. And when we want to bring it into our home, there are a couple things we can keep in mind. One thing that you may notice is that the Chesterfield sofa is very substantial. It is probably much larger, say, compared to a more modern, slim profile of sofa. And that means it's most likely wider as well as deeper. So one thing I recommend doing is to decide where you're going to place that sofa in your room and check and see what size will make sense there. And because a Chesterfield sofa is very substantial, in a way, it's kind of nice because it grounds our room, kind of gives some weight to our room and a nice anchor to where we're going to have our main conversation area in the room. And lots of times leather is used on a Chesterfield sofa. That is the most traditional type of covering that would be used on that sofa. But also we can use velvet and linen and other types of upholstery. And when you are choosing a color of the leather or the fabric that you're going to place on a Chesterfield sofa, you can play up on that very substantial look by choosing a darker, deeper color. Or if you want to create a lighter look to it, so where it would have a lighter visual weight, which just means that we would perceive that that sofa is not as heavy as it normally would be with a darker fabric or leather on it. That will help to lighten that look. And because the Chesterfield sofa does have all these little details going on in it, the nailhead trim and the deep button tufting, there's a lot of pattern and lines and movement that is happening on the sofa. So I would recommend keeping it to a solid sort of fabric or leather. And when we're looking at items that will coordinate with our Chesterfield sofa, there are a couple things to keep in mind. With area rugs, ideally it's nice if all of your furniture in that conversation area, so that's the sofa and your coffee table and your end tables and maybe an accent chair, all sit on that area rug, at least a bit. Ideally, it's nice if all of the furniture can sit on there completely. But just as long as part of the sofa can sit on that area rug, it will help to create a cohesive look. I received a comment from a wonderful viewer who mentioned that they just bought a Chesterfield sofa and they also ordered a new area rug. And they wanted to make sure that everything was going to work together. From what I saw, it sounded like everything would work together to create a nice look. So what I would do is just take some time to find out what size of area rug will work in your room and what size of a Chesterfield sofa will work in your room as well, so that you can create a cohesive look. The other coordinating item that I would kind of take some time to look for would be end tables. And the reason why is going back to that design where those arms of the Chesterfield sofa are the same height as the back. And most likely that's going to be higher than sofa arms that we would have on another design. So that just means looking for end tables that will be high enough that we can easily access everything on that end table. So just take some time to take some measurements before you buy coordinating end tables. So I would love to find out from you if you have a Chesterfield sofa and how you decided to buy that design. So please share that in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we discover more neat things about interior design. Take care.